Good morning. I guess you can hear me. First of all, I'd like to recognize some of the folks that aren't here today. We've got people that are ailing, we've got some sickness, things of that. We've got Don Reese out with another surgery again. He's going to be gone for a while again. We've got Phyllis, who's, she's still not able to get here, and she's under therapy. All the ones that we can remember today that are sick and that need our prayers and our help, continue to pray for those, because them not being here, I know they want to be here, but we are here to help and pray for them and to reach them to get back to where they need to be in their lives. As a young child, I guess it was instilled in me, even though I wasn't come from a really religious family, it was always instilled in me to, not bully somebody, not get mad on the playground as a kid and take it out on the other person, but, to turn that other cheek. Step away if you can and be the good person. That's not easy to do. And I'm sure you've all been in situations in your own lives, as we sit here today, that you've been in that situation before. Maybe some of you haven't, but I sure have been a few times. And I've always tried to do the right thing. I think it started out even with me in elementary, when we had a kid that just wanted to show his way against everyone. And he was really hard to get along with. He just wanted to show his strength and power over everybody. And, he was much bigger than the rest of us. And we always felt like we wanted to go and punch this guy out, just as a kid, or slap him, or whatever. But if we did that, we were going to get beat to a pulp. So I never did that. I never retaliated. And somewhere along the line, as the years grew and we grew up together in each class, from first grade to seventh grade, somewhere along the line, we finally got in touch with each other a little bit. He mellowed out a little bit, and by the time we graduated from high school, he was good friends with a lot of people. And that's the kind of thing that we need to recognize in this world today. There is so much turbulence and violence. We're not going to solve all the problems overseas. We can sure help, and we can sure do the right things in our own congregation, our own community. But we're not going to solve all the problems. But if we can sure go out there, and if we know people that are a little bit like this kid I saw in first grade, and we can change their lives, and we can turn the other cheek, and show them that we will not be the one that you're going to be able to just hammer down. I saw a video, when we was looking at some of these, I looked at a video where another kid got in trouble at school, and they were bickering back and forth. The whole school went outside because these two were going to have a fight. And all they were fighting over was a pair of tennis shoes. And the kid that was much bigger and much more powerful, he got out there and he slugged the other guy down. And, the guy just kept popping back up, and he slugged him down again. He popped back up. By the time the guy got hit 10 times, he had some bruises and he was battered pretty well. But you know what? He never lost his patience one time. He continued to show the other cheek, just trying to show the other person that I won't be bullied this way and I won't attack you back. I'm not going to retaliate. And pretty soon this other kid finally realized, he's not going to do anything to me. I can give him all he wants. I can punch him all day long, but he's not going to. So he learned a lesson that day when they went back into that schoolhouse. one of the things that I've had these same problems in my own communities. When we decided to have men's basketball here on Sunday afternoons, and you guys voted that in and agreed with that, and I did not know at that point that I was going to be the official, the referee between these men. Now, I've been an official before. I've done this job before many times. It's nothing new to me. But, when you're refereeing high school kids, and on Friday night or whenever it is, it's not, you usually don't see fights and people wanting to kill each other. But when we brought these fellows in here the first week, and this is the third week of the basketball, and let me tell you, Troy Reed is doing a great job of getting people in here, whether it's little kids or the big kids. It's a ministry that he has, and we should all appreciate what he's doing for us as a church. But when I put this thing here on, and I blow the whistle, and they don't agree with my plan, or my foul, or whatever it shall be, I've got to turn the other cheek a lot of times. Because if I was just reacting on the way that some of those fellows reacted, now some of them will go off and they want to kill that other guy, or they want to kill the ref. It's my fault. They never commit a foul. They never get, they're always on the opposite side of the referee. And the last 2 weeks, I've had to step in the middle of these guys. Now, let me tell you, these guys are learning. They're here, the same guys every week. They are learning. But when I call that whistle or blow that whistle, and I call a foul, and they come in my face, and I've got to react in a certain way, I can't slap them down. I can't do those kind of things. But one thing that you can do is you can pull them to the side and you can talk to them and tell them, hey, I'm going to tell you what you did. I'm going to show you what you did. And this is what you did. And I had to call the foul because it was a foul. And some of them want to go after each other at halftime, or the game's over, and they're still fighting. Well, I'm going to punch that guy out. The game's over now, so now's my chance. So I have to step in front once in a while, and I got to push him out that door. Get out of here. The game's over. You either won, you lost. Have a good day. We appreciate you being here. Now, the one thing about it, we're each of us that are involved in this. I think Jim Cummings was the first Sunday. He was doing a devotional. I did one last week. I think Craig Martins is here today. But we take the young men at halftime and we do a 5-minute devotional with these folks. And, I know that we're getting through to them because after the first half's over, they're running down the court and they're still bickering once in a while with each other. But yet, I'll hear one of them say, hey, remember what Jesus said? So, they are getting the message. They are getting the message. And what I hope that we have continuous progress every single week. Because, some of these people come from inner city, and let's don't categorize them, but they're, some of them have some rough ways to go. And then some of them are just normal, run-of-the-mill people that come in here. But, they all seem to be in that one mold that they want to argue, and somewhere along the line, they've just continued that so much in their lives, they can't get it out of their system, or nobody's told them there's a better way. But what I'm seeing is an improvement every week. And I hope that we have continued improvement today. But just to sort of share that with you, we know that you guys voted to let them come in, and it's a good thing. And we are, the ministry that Troy gives us is really great. But they are really, they're coming along because here's the thing about it. We thought we was going to have a different ref probably every week, or different referees. I volunteered to referee every week. So I feel like I can't let these guys down now, because they know my face, they know what I'm going to call, what I'm not going to call, and they've learned that this is what he does. So now I can't let these guys down. I got to come here every Sunday and ref the game, because they know me as a figure now, and they know that what we're trying to preach is something different and better in their lives. So if they can play basketball and they can learn what Jesus wants us to do in life, and that's to turn the other cheek when we can, then we're doing our job a little bit. And I think we can use this whole thing in our own lives sometimes. I go back to the fact that I was a manager at a company for about 50, 60 people. And I had every one of those people under me. And when you have 50 or 60 different people with different attitudes and different ways of doing things, it can be quite something. I mean, it's you got people coming to you every day. Well, he called me this and he called me that. That guy called me a skinhead. And it's crazy stuff. And you've got all these people. Now, some of them are not making a lot of money. Some of them are. But for that type of stuff that went on every single day, and I knew it was going to happen most of the time, I had to have an answer. But I couldn't just slap them down, fire them, do whatever. Sometimes letting people go does become part of your job. But, I couldn't just go off on these people. So I always tried to take them downstairs in the basement. If there was two of them that were fighting together, I tried to organize these two guys together, or sometimes it was a woman and a man. And, I tried to talk to them and how Jesus would want me to react to their problems and how they do things. And, if you sit and talk to people and you let them know that there's a different way, a better way, and just... Jesus is on your side. God is on our side. There is a better life. There is a better way. You don't have to come through that door on every morning and just have a grudge against somebody. You can come in there and enjoy your job. I mean, it's possible. And one thing I think I did, I was with the company and still am somewhat, but I've been there 44 years. And I've seen a lot of people come and go with a lot of different attitudes. And you have to just deal with it one-on-one or two-on-two. But, I'm sure some of you sitting right here today have had that same type of work atmosphere as managers or department heads or whatever. But, it's not an easy thing to deal with. But you just have to teach and continue to teach every single day. Especially if you've got people that that's going to be a problem every day anyway. You just have to continue to show them the right from the wrong, and try to teach them there is a better way to handle it. You don't have to call that guy over there an idiot, or But those are the kind of things and lessons that we learn on our jobs and our communities, anywhere we go. We see crazy things happening. When I was growing up, my mom and dad would teach me to turn the other cheek and say, it's not good to do that. But then I'd turn on the TV and I'd see two cowboys beating the crap out of each other. So what was the real lesson here? And I understand that's movies and that's for entertainment, but still, it just didn't. It was different to. What the teaching was, and then turn on the TV and see that type of stuff. But, if each and every one of us continue to do those right things, remember what Jesus says. Remember those words he just said right up here on that screen. I think each and every one of us can become better people. And I think we can also, our enemies, our offenders can be much more different. We can go a long ways in society if we just help each other. Would you play that next video up there?
with two little children. Someone breaks into your house, and next thing they're standing over you. And do you say, oh, well, Jesus told me to turn the other cheek, so you want just hurt me, or you can hurt my wife too? In fact, the kids are down the hallway. Is that what it means? No. It has nothing to do with self-defense. It has to do with personal retaliation. And in fact, if we look at in Matthew chapter 5, verse 39, Jesus says, do not resist the one who is evil, but if anyone slaps you on the right cheek, turn to him the other also. It's in the context of eye for eye, tooth for tooth legislation. And what he's saying is this. Notice, if someone slaps you on the right cheek, okay, so here's my right hand. You presume right-handedness in Scripture. If I slap you with my right hand, what cheek am I slapping? I'm slapping your left cheek. If I smite you on the right cheek, if I slap you on the right cheek, what does that mean? Boom, a backhanded slap. Jewish law that was developing at that time, as far as we know, was current at that time, says that if someone gives you a backhanded slap in public, you are entitled to certain compensation in the courts. And then if they give you a regular slap, it's half that compensation. But for public shaming, you can now retaliate in the courts. He's saying, no. Don't fight back in that respect. Don't retaliate personally. Don't go for personal vindication, and someone humiliates you publicly. Now you're going to take them to court and sue them and try to get what you can. No. Overcome evil with good. That's the Jesus way. And that's how we see Jesus himself behaving. When he is mistreated, he doesn't mistreat in return. When he is reviled, he doesn't revile in return. Instead, he dies for those very people. But this has nothing whatsoever to do with self-defense, and it has nothing whatsoever to say America getting involved in World War II to take out the Nazis. That was a good thing to do and a thing God blessed. So let's interpret this. It's a radical verse, but let's interpret it rightly.
We really was going to cut the last part out a little bit, but in the Sermon on the Mount, Jesus proclaims a way of life aimed at setting up God's reign on earth. Followers of Jesus, mostly from the lowest strata of society, are subject to oppressing forces. Both powerful, Jews and Roman occupiers, and we all know how, as we look back in time, how the Roman, I think I need to step out here. If we look back in time, we know how powerful the Roman Empire was and how they treated people. But, one thing we need to just remember is do not fight evil with evil. That's what God is, or Jesus is trying to press onto us today. Be a little passive, even though he's not really calling us to be passive, but it's treat the oppressors, if you can, a different way. We have this opportunity in our own lives each and every day to be that way. If something is not going your way, and there's there's conflict at work or conflict at home, or it's like you see something going on the streets, and you don't like what you see, and you cross the street and you go over and punch somebody out because you didn't like what was happening. Okay, are you going to get involved, ruin your life, go to jail, those kind of things for something you really didn't even know maybe what was going on in that situation? Try to stay out of those kinds. Now, I understand if somebody is being, we just had a very unfortunate thing happen down the road here a week ago where a young lady was killed. If you're able to step in and do something about that in a situation that's safe enough to do, then that's a whole different story. You're stopping something, but don't get involved in things that are going to get you thrown in the clink, and it's going to end up ruining your life, your marriage, your relationships. Just think about all of that before you do it. But yet, keep this message that we have here today with Jesus. Keep that in your mind. Keep it fresh all the time. And you know, I'm sort of a worrier sometimes, but I try to keep things in my mind on a constant basis that I know that I can't do, that I have to stray away from, and I have to make sure that I'm cognizant of that all the time, because it's just, you know, human reaction can get you in a lot of trouble. And sometimes you just have, it's like being at work, and I was telling you about all those people that I had to be around and on a daily basis. But anyway, treat life can be different. And that's what I'd like to emphasize today as we go forth. Look at the vision. Look at the lesson that we learned here today about what Jesus is teaching us. But listen to the vision that we have outside of here. Look at the vision you have in your life. Look at the love that you can give. Look at the things that you can do for your community. And I think this congregation is really doing a great job of stretching out in the community and helping people like we have on Sunday morning or Sunday afternoons. You know, those things that we're doing are extremely great. And those are the kind of things that we need to look at and say, okay, let's just don't sit around on our tails. Let's go out and let's see what we can do in our lives. Can we make a difference? Can we involve ourselves in a community that's screaming for help? And, you know, if each one of us just helps one person in your life from here to eternity, you have the days that you have left, if you can help one person and straighten their life out and get them to move in a different direction, you know, I think you can feel like you've succeeded. And I know that God will feel the same way about where you're headed in your life. It's just, you know, being part of a church and being part of, the Christian movement, I've had to learn a lot. And, you know, you guys are helping me do that, and God is mostly responsible for bringing me to be able to stand up here and even speak. But we just got to continue down this road. If you can continue to pray for the ones that need to be prayed for, pray for each other, pray for that guy that needs that help on Sunday afternoon, pray for those people that are sick. Just look at your life as a vision, a new vision that you can start right here today. If you're not doing it now, can we start today? Can we be the better person? Can we do the better things? It's not too late. I look at myself and I said, well, I'm 65 years old. Big deal. I hope I'm still standing up here doing this when I'm 105. But, you know, who knows? Maybe God's got a better plan. Maybe he needs a referee on heaven. I don't know. Maybe he's got some problems up there that I need to take care of. But you know, let's continue to march forward. Continue to do the right things for each and every one of us. And this morning, I'd like for every one of you to get up, and I'd love for you to hug each other, say, I love you, and whatever it takes to feel friendly this morning. Let's do that. I know this is the second time up. So you guys got practice. Love you, man.
Thanks, man. I love you too.
How you doing?
Doing good.
Good to see you.
Good seeing you.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. If you're sitting or standing, I'd like for us to bow our heads. Father, we come before you today to learn the lessons that your Son Jesus has proposed for us. Let us each take a message today that we can turn the other cheek, that we can make a difference. We can treat our enemies without totally obliterating those people, but just to work with peace with them, become friends, not enemies, but just continue down this road as we work our way through life and through our community, if whether it's Grove City or where it's at. Continue to reach out and just work really hard. That's the message I would like to convey today, and I think God is very much in our lives here today. And I know that that spirit that we have is in this room, and I know you'll take it with you today when you leave this place. So in Jesus' name, we say amen.